Earningspalooza, Lollapalooza, and Don't Sleep on Other. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by Vietnamese iced coffee, and brought to you by No Disc, helping music, technology, and finance companies navigate the music industry in partnership with Digital Music News. It's August 3rd, 2026. I'm Lars Murray. It's Monday, where we talk about what happened over the weekend and what is on deck for this week. Over the weekend, well, I'm not a big fan of major festivals, but if I had to choose one, it would be Lollapalooza, which experienced not quite Woodstock and not quite Bonnaroo 2025 levels of rainfall this weekend, but apparently became a mud bath. One reason I love Lolla is that if you aren't having a good time, you can just go enjoy one of the best cities anywhere. It's right across the street. Go get a dog, grab a beef, and then come back. It's always a bummer to have sets canceled, which happened on Saturday. At least the artists still get paid, but that opportunity cost to be in front of a big crowd is kind of priceless. Anyway, as with any festival, if you were there, I hope you are recovering, at least as well as I'm recovering from my shingle shot on Thursday. Meanwhile, Q2 Earningspalooza marched on, lining up even more squarely than usual with Lolla. On Friday, we promised we'd get to the Sony Music earnings call today. Sorry for that needle scratch on Friday where I missed the UMG stock tanking. I blame that shingles vaccine. Anyway, I think it's safe to say that Rob Stringer is going to have a more restful August vacation season than Lucian Grange is. Overall, Sony Music's Q2 was up a whopping 22% year over year. How did Sony do this in a quarter when Universal was up only single digits and its stock lost nearly 25% of its value in one day? Somewhere Bill Ackman is smiling broadly. Well, two things lifted Sony. One is familiar. It's good to be in the Michael Jackson business now as ever. The Michael biopic left Bohemian Rhapsody in the dust as the all-time #1 music biopic, and that in turn drove the revenue category known as Other, which may not be quite as familiar. Other is all that recorded music revenue that doesn't fall into traditional categories. Unlike streaming, it still has a ton of growth potential, things like merch and live music revenue. Those were up at Sony a whopping 36% year over year, generating $900 million on its own in the quarter and driving Sony's quarter over $3 billion for the third quarter in a row at 3.5 Queeners. Don't sleep on Other. Yes, unlike Lucian Grange, because he did not sleep on Other in Q2, Rob Stringer will sleep soundly in August, at least until Luton Town opens its season on the 15th, stuck in League One for another season. Elizabeth Dilts Marshall has the details over at Billboard. Over at that third major, well, we're still waiting for their earnings call, which happens on Wednesday, but it's probably not a great sign when your CFO/COO is out 5 days before that call. That's what happened over at Warner as Armin Zerza, who had only been in the job for a year, exited on Thursday. Congrats, I hope, to old friend Warner Brothers label co-CEO Tom Corson, who was deputized as corporate's new CEO in Zerza's place, so fast, in fact, that he'll be wearing two hats for a while. I guess we'll find out more about what might have driven that fast last-minute change on Wednesday's earnings call. Chris Eggertsen and Elizabeth Dilts Marshall teamed up to cover Tom's ascension and Armin's departure, respectively, over at Billboard. Another of the Earningspalooza acts, Live Nation, had its earnings call at the end of the week. Its stock took a roughly 5% dip, which is not great, but considering Live Nation is battling a gaggle of state attorneys general in court, and it's fighting blue dot fever, which it insists is really not a thing, the fact that it's still up 22% year to date is pretty impressive. It may be that investors think the breakup value of Live Nation is even greater than its value as a single entity. Dylan Smith had the coverage over at Digital Music News. And another week, another Billboard power list. This time it's 40 under 40. Two standouts for me. Congrats to my friend and compadre and fellow Leo Nicki Shamel, heading up the USA over at TuneCore, for making the list. Much deserved, Nicki. And congrats to one of the folks driving that other revenue over at Sony Music, Charlie Yedor, doing the BD screen and gaming thing over there. Congrats, Charlie. Looking at the week ahead, well, there's that Warner Music Group earnings call on Wednesday, which should be riveting audio. Reservoir has its earnings call tomorrow, which might shine a little light on the publishing landscape, which was a little light over at UMG. and a few music folks celebrating birthdays like me, again, all Leos, and yet somehow we still get along. My longtime MTV partner and current podcast buddy, Perry Turcotte, my old boss, Sarah Clemens, who taught me a ton of stuff, Zack Gershen, holding it down over at Virgin Music, my compadre on the Once soundtrack, and so many other projects, Jack Hedges, over at Transgressive, ace marketer J.D. Tuminski, whom I taught everything he knows, Concord GM and fellow NYCFC supporter Victor Zaraya, and my two-time co-worker Montsee Carty over at the Berklee School of Music. Happy birthday, everybody! Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by you, our listeners. If you want to join the few, the proud, the elite supporters of Unlimited Supply and receive your Unlimited Supply trucker hat as a symbol of your sophistication, there's a link in the show notes and on our website. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods, especially on Apple Music or Substack. I live for your praise and encouragement, but it really helps if you share that praise as a rating and or a review and as a follow. And tell a friend or three. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.